The Madman! Welcome to the top cards of Custom Hearthstone, week of January 19th. First up, we've got Storyteller, neutral 1 mana, 2/3. Your opponent's hero power costs 1. Of course, when you're printing a neutral 1 mana, 2/3, you've got to put a fairly substantial drawback to it. Generally, hero powers are something that you don't really want to do onto. A 1 mana discount on it suddenly seems like a good idea, and if you're getting a 1 mana discount, then it's like the Storyteller actually costs 2 mana because you save the mana, the opponent saved the mana. I think this is a pretty elegant design, nice and simple, and I think fair and balanced. 5-star design, 5-star balance, nice common card. Mad Chef, 3 mana, 3/2. When a friendly minion dies, restore 1 health to your hero. If it was a chicken, restore 10 health instead. I think this is brilliant. Perhaps the chef does not have to be mad. Perhaps it just needs to be a chef of some sort. But anyways, I love the flavor of chicken. So design 5 stars. Balance 4 stars in the sense that I believe that it can be made more powerful. Perhaps a 3 mana 3/3. It can generally be expected that when you're playing when a friendly minion dies cards that you play it and expect maybe 2 cards to die. In which case it would be a 3 mana 3/3 restore 2 health to your hero, which isn't awfully strong, but if you're particularly playing with chickens, then bonus achieved. Nice. Whispers of the Old Frogs. A shaman 6 mana legendary spell which shuffles an old frog into your deck. RoGStonewall adds hexes to your hand with echoes which cost 2. Toad, summon 6 friendly minions that died this game, give them +1 health and taunt. Toad shuffles 15/0/1 frogs with taunt into your opponent's deck. And FroztedMech recruits a minion from the opponent's deck each turn and transforms them into 0/1 frogs with taunts. This card in particular got voted up from Custom Hearthstone because Custom Hearthstone loves seeing remixes of the old gods. And these are old gods in frog form, so what's not to like about them? Well, I have a problem with this. 6 mana do nothing until you draw the 10 mana card. Sometimes it's 10 mana slowly do nothing. For example, RoGStonewall, 10 mana, get a 7/5. Get a good card, but don't get the good card this turn. Toad, 10 mana 6/6, do nothing that turn, but ruin draws potentially in the future. 10 mana 10/10 FroztedMech against some decks just doesn't do anything because pulling a card from the opponent's deck isn't that impactful. So, would this be played? No, it's only really good against late game control decks. A card that rewards this type of matchup by this extent is also unhealthy, and also the way that it rewards it is kind of twisted. There's so much wide variance in the power of these things, like the designs don't really inspire their old god counterparts. Would I be able to tell that RoGStonewall was supposed to mirror YogStonewall other than the name and the stats? No. So from these terms, I actually have to give the design of this 1 star. I don't know what you were thinking, Custom Hearthstone Reddit, upvoting this, other than the fact that if you just remix any old gods, you'll get voted as a top card of Custom Hearthstone. Balance of this card, I'm going to give a 3 stars in the sense of, would anyone ever play this? No, the meta will never be slow enough to play it, but if the meta were ever slow enough to play it, boy would this also be unhealthy for the meta. Lifewing, 20 mana, Priest Dragon, 5/8. Keyword, investment, and effect, should say battlecry. Battlecry, heal your hero to full health. So investment means you can play the card without having the mana to pay for it, and then whatever mana you had goes towards reducing the mana cost of Lifewing. Through these means, you can pay for Lifewing over a series of turns where you don't need to spend the mana, and then bring Lifewing down to an amount that you can cast it, and then voila. I actually think this is an excellent mechanic. Design, I'm gonna give 5 stars. Mayor Valleytown approves of this investment mechanic. Balance? It's really hard to evaluate. Yes, you're going to have to spend a total of 20 mana on it, but you get to shave off some mana here and there, and obviously heal your hero to full health is an extremely powerful mechanic. How much would you have to charge for the Battlecry to restore your hero to full health? Tree of Life is an attempt to do that, which sets both of the heroes to full health. 9 mana without a minion to do it, and also affecting your enemy. So that's a hint towards how valuable healing heroes to full health is. So from that perspective, I think the fact that it also comes with a 5/8 the 20 mana might be in the right area. This is one of those cards that I think you would have to actually try out in practice to know where to price it. My instinct is a price of somewhere between 15 and 20 is the right amount, but I actually don't really know what the right amount is. I think about how on turn 10, maybe sometimes you don't have anything useful to do in a late game control match. You pay the 10 mana investment, and then for 10 more mana, you get your 5/8, heal your hero to full health. I also consider, well, will you ever actually be able to store 20 mana worth of stuff against an aggro deck? Probably not. So, very confusing in terms of what the mana price of this should be. Clearly something that needs a lot of trial and error before doing it, so I hesitantly offer a balance rating of 5 stars, but I think it needs to be tested a lot. 20 is on the high end of things. My initial instinct is it probably should be 15, but I don't know. But what I do know is investment sounds like a really cool mechanic. King Rostafin, a Shaman hero card. 3 mana, battlecry, shuffle the Murloc, Loa, and spirits into your deck. 1 armor. Hero power becomes whenever you summon a Murloc, give it a random keyword. Spirit of the Murloc is 3 mana, 0/3, stealth for a turn. Whenever you summon a Murloc, draw a Murloc. And the Murloc Loa, Giant Fin, 8 mana, 8/8, battlecry, fill your board with 1/1 Murlocs with Rush. Since the passive is whenever you summon a Murloc, give it a random keyword, you will get a Super Mega Onyxia with Giant Fin, which have Rush and sometimes Divine Shield, sometimes Poisonous, sometimes Immune, where you can get like 1/1 Murlocs with Immune. Random keywords is kind of interesting because there are other keywords that work which have they don't make any sense. For example, gain random keyword Death Rattle. Could gain the random keyword Echo, for example, also. So a lot of weird stuff can happen. Ultimately, what I look at this card and see is it's kind of 3 mana, do nothing. It's meant to be played in a mid-range Murloc deck where you gain a lot of value by getting random keywords onto these Murlocs, but that's really random. There's also a big problem with this being a hero card that costs 3, which has so much synergy with Murlocs. It's clearly a card that wants to be drawn early, but when you're near top decking it, it's like pretty useless. There's a reason why hero cards were generally designed to be expensive, because by the time you got to the late game, you would have a chance of being able to utilize that hero card and have a chance of being able to both play and have a chance to have drawn into it by then. King Rostafin I find to have a number of issues. I rate the design 2 stars. Balance on this, I rate it 4 stars. Ultimately, it looks like it probably could be printed at this price and it would probably be okay, and I think it's too weak at the moment even, so it's very complicated on what you would have to do in order to fix this. The Card Dealer. 3 mana, 3/3, battlecry, discover a suspicious card. The suspicious card can either be Yungisome, the Ancient, 4 mana, 5/4, charged. This minion can only attack the enemy hero if there are no enemy minions in the battlefield, a nod to Yu-Gi-Oh! Gwentis, the Warlock, a 4 mana, 0/6, taunt, can't attack. This minion's attack is equal to the number of friendly minions on the battlefield, a nod to how in Gwent, you don't actually attack with your cards, you simply place them on the battlefield. The 4 mana, 4/3, Magicus, the Gathered, which at the start of each turn, restore this minion to full health, and battlecry, add 3 lands to your deck, a nod to Magic's mana system. So obviously this card wouldn't be printed because it is bad business for Hearthstone to advertise Yu-Gi-Oh!, Gwent, and Magic. So should I dock points for that for design? And I'm going to choose not to because this is clearly a custom Hearthstone design, which is just clever, and alright, we can all feel warm and fuzzy about the cleverness of this. I'll give the design 5 stars. Balance-wise, the 4 mana, 5/4, kinda charge, kinda rush in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really strong. That in particular is a bit overpowered. The other two, they're kind of okay. My proposal is kind of simple, just move the Yungisome card down to a 4 mana, 3/2 with the same text. And that would just bump the balance to more along Gwentis and Magicus's balance rating. So but currently, as is, due to Yungisome, I have to give the balance of this a 3 star. Project Chimera. 6 mana, 6/6. Start of game. If you have no spells in your deck, your minion's tribe becomes all. Project Chimera itself is also an all minion. So at first, when I looked at this card, I was like, ha! Finally, someone has looked at all of these start of game things and realizes that start of game is an insane mechanic and you better do something very minor in order to actually have a start of game effect. And it was like, oh, well, your minions try becoming all, that's not insane, right? Boy was I wrong. Turn 1, Murloc Tidecaller. Turn 2, play your Crackling Razor Maw on your Murloc Tidecaller. Murloc Tidecaller gets +1 because you played a Murloc, it gets to adapt. Turn 3, you play your Murloc Warleader. Turn 4, you play your Houndmaster. Turn 5, you go ahead and magnetic your Ziliax. Play your Blazecaller on 7 after playing anything on 6. It's pretty insane. Not to even mention, you can just do Mech Warper, and then play all of your 2-mana Murlocs, or Beasts, or Elementals, or whatever. It's crazy. I find that this is so insane that it cannot possibly ever see the light of day. Design 1 star, there's no way to salvage this. Balance 1 star. The way to salvage this would be to put a requirement so absurd that it would be so highly restrictive that it would be useless, which it's too much. Roll the dice. 2-mana priest spell, discover a spell. One of the choices is roll the dice. This designer has fallen into the classic trap of giving priest a spell that kind of has echo in the sense that it can be cast multiple times. Since roll the dice always discovers roll the dice with 2 radiant elementals, you can just roll the dice forever. And that has synergy with Questing Adventure, it has synergy with Mana Addict, it has synergy with cards like Lyra and Dragon Soul, and being able to cast a spell infinite times, it turns out, is pretty insane for a number of reasons. For that reason, this can never be printed for Mage and Priest. I should give this a low rating, but because I feel like it can be salvaged fairly easily, I'll give the design 3 stars. Balance is 2 stars in the sense that I don't necessarily think it would break open the game to have it because maybe the combo itself isn't that insane. But really, what we can do is just move the card to Rogue, which roll the dice is very flavorful for Rogue. And Rogue, unlike Priest and Mage, do not have a way to reduce the cost of spells constantly. Infectious Rat. Hunter 1-mana 1/1 Beast, transform any minion damaged by this into an Infectious Rat. Initially, this looks pretty insane because it's kind of like Poisonous, right? You might even think it's better than Poisonous because it gets rid of death rattles, it just instead gives them an Infectious Rat. But on the downside, they have an Infectious Rat and their Infectious Rat can, like, do stuff that's bad to you. You might argue, wow, what if this gets to Rush with Handmaster Shaw or something? But Stubborn Gastropod is in the meta and that has not broken the game, so Infectious Rat should also not. The 1 health is going to really avoid it being widespread, so I like it. A design 5 stars, balance 5 stars. And Hibernate. A cute little hunter spell, 1 mana, return a beast to its owner's hand. It can serve as incredible technology against the beast matchup, and it can also combo, probably more often going to be used for, combo with your own beast where you play the beast for a battlecry effect or to trigger something that keys off of beasts, and then you can hibernate and then cast it again later. It can be used as kind of a heal also. Your beasts have gotten too low, well, hibernate them and then recast them. And I think it's really simple. It pushes the word beasts onto a hunter card, which I always enjoy. And I think it's at a good mana cost. I think 0 could also be toyed with, but 1 is probably where it should be. Design 5 stars, balance 5 stars. Some really cool ones this time around, and I just wanted to shout out again Lifewing. I think investment is such a good name for a keyword and a really cool idea which I think could be expanded on. And that's not just my bias as the mayor of LA Town speaking.